NDTV Profit, and I'm your host Malika Mishra.
Yeah, and this is a show where we get all your queries answered, so you can either WhatsApp us or even call us live on numbers that are flashing below the screen just right now. That's the WhatsApp number right there. We'll have the number for you to call. That's it. And today we'll be joined by Mr. Kushal Gandhi on the technical side. He's from Stockbox, and on the fundamental side, we're joined by Mr. G. Jokulingam, the founder and MD at Economics Research. So let's get on with the first query, and this is from Vishwanath all the way from Dubai. He's currently holding 100 shares of Asian Paints at a price of 700 rupees, and he's asking whether he should hold or sell his position. Right now he's at a profit of over 16 lakhs, and in terms of Asian Paints Q3 numbers, well, the net profit was in line with estimates at 1,111 crores, and revenue stood at 8,549 crores versus the estimate of 8,903 crores. So it was a slight miss on that front. In terms of, but we still saw the uptick in the stock of 3%. We did have the con call just going on. We have some key highlights there as well. But Mr. Choklingam, I'll come to you first on Asian Paints. Your outlook on Asian Paints, do you think competitive intensity is hurting the counter?
Yeah, certainly. The capacity addition by two large industrial houses, namely Grasim and Jindal, is estimated to be 50% of existing capacity. And the second headwind is there is a slowdown in the economy, particularly in the core sector as compared to last year. So these things would definitely impact its prospects in the short to medium term. However, the stock has corrected a lot, and post Mr. Trump's aggressive measures on protectionism, the global oil price is also correcting quite significantly, and that is positive for paint industry in the short term. So therefore, maybe another 5-10% upside is possible in the short term. So I would say that around 2,500 to 2,600 would be the fair value in the short term. But in medium to long term, I would say that there are many other stocks to look for making wealth.
And when you say medium to long term, there are other counters also to look at in this space. Could you name a few?
I would go for the growth stories. As I said, the paint industry, medium to long term, is going to be very tough because of the aggressive competition and volume of new capacity coming up. So I would say that one can look at L&T, because if you see the visibility of infrastructure segment, it is extraordinarily robust. Almost every week, the company uploads about getting significant orders. And IT sector also, which used to be as much as 50% of the profits, now it is roughly 1/3 of the total consolidated profit. So the 2/3 is coming from basically the growing segments of L&T overall business. So I believe L&T would be much better stock in the medium to long term in the large cap space as compared to Asian Paints.
Well said, thank you. And we will go across to our next WhatsApp query. Raju has written to us from Lucknow. He holds 435 shares of Tata Power at 2,500 a piece. And basically, the company just reported its Q3 results. The revenue was up around 5.05%, EBITDA up 38.68%, margin at 21%, and net profit was also up 8.5% of thereabouts. What helped Q3 earnings? Well, the revenue growth was largely driven by transmission and distribution, plus the bottom line was aided by 35% lower tax expenses. However, if you look at the screens at this given point of time, you would be able to see that Raju is sitting on a substantial amount of loss, 9 lakh or thereabouts. And therefore, Kushal, let's take this question to you. Although Tata Power has reported some strong set of numbers, it does not seem to be doing very well in terms of returns on the stock exchanges. What's your view?
The stock is trying to bottom out at the current market juncture, and I believe that the stock can be hold since it's trying to bottom out. My sense is to just wait for a closing about 376, 370 odds. So once that resistance is taken out, I believe there might be some reversals due to oversold conditions. So perhaps just hold at the current market juncture, add more quantities about 378 for an immediate target for 425.
Got it. Next, we are joined by a caller, and we have Sumit joining the show. Welcome to the show, Sumit. What's your query about?
Good evening, ma'am. First of all,
Good evening. What's the stock that you have a query on, and what's your current position in
Ma'am,
stock?
ma'am, I do have query on Indian hotels, ma'am. I do have shares of Indian hotels. I do have 60 shares, ma'am,
Okay.
on the average price of 213 rupees.
Okay. And are you looking for a long-term view or a short-term view?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I can hold it up to 2 years, ma'am.
Got it. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you. Our viewer has a query on Indian hotels in terms of a long-term perspective. Now, in the past 1 month, it's down about 2%, but in the last 6 months, it's up 35%. From the long term in the time frame of 2 years, what's your view on Indian hotels?
Certainly, for a two-year time frame, it would be very safe, large cap stock coming from reputed group, and also the hotel industry is booming. But as you also rightly mentioned, in the short term itself, it has recovered phenomenally. The valuation also not that cheap. If you look at EV to EBITDA, all the top leaders are trading at historically record high valuation of anywhere around 35 to 40 EV to EBITDA. So for for risk-taking investors, I would present my research idea, which is Park Hotel, which is trading at an enterprise value per room of around 1.5 crore, less than 1.5 crore, whereas most of the leaders are trading at anywhere 5 to even 8 crore per room. So therefore, a little risk, but a high possibility of wealth creation in Park Hotel than in Indian Hotel. But for conservative investors, Indian Hotel is the better stock.
Okay. Indian Hotel is a better stock. That's Chokalingam. And let's go across to Shankar. Shankar is joining us on the phone line. Hi, Shankar. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to
Mr.
Ask
Chokalingam,
Profit.
sir. I am your regular follower. Already I inquired about all my holdings in past 1 month. Now I want to fresh entry to anyone. Very, very good super stock, which will give handsome multi-bagger stock I want. If you any idea.
Okay. I got that
please,
question. Okay. So,
okay, I watch the TV.
Got it. So Shankar has directly asked you this question, Mr. Chokalingam. He wants to know some of the multi-bagger stocks that you think will end up being winners in 2025. But just before that, for the benefit of our viewers, multi-bagger stocks are basically those stocks that can give 100% returns or even more. And before you name a few counters, I would also want you to simply describe what kind of parameters should one look at in order to identify a potential multi-bagger.
Yeah. If I can take 1 or 2 minutes extra, because question is very comprehensive one in nature.
Sure.
So definitely, I can present the characteristics of the multi-bagger. But before that, after learning in the market for 33 years, I would like to, share my one core learning. Generally, multi-baggers take sometimes, unfortunately, 2 to even 5 years. And the trend in the stock price is flat even for 3-4 years. Sometimes even after 3 years, absolutely you lose money also. And it tests your passion. So one has to really wait for anywhere from 1 to even 3 to 5 years. Look at the BSE stock. I'm not recommending it. I'm not holding it. It took about 6 years. It used to trade, if you adjust for the bonus, 150 rupees. Today, world over, a lot of people are initiating the stock, despite this being the costliest stock. So the point I am saying that you have to be a very long-term investors. Second, you should not be concerned about stock price going down or testing your passions unless the fundamentals remain intact. So if fundamentals are remaining intact or even improving, don't bother about the stock price volatility on the downside at all. That is why only 3 to 5% of the total investors end up making a lot of wealth in the market, because the rest of the people do not have that kind of passions. And most of the people focus more on the price factors rather than the fundamental factors. So what are the characteristics of the multi-bagger? It should be a good management. You should track the management for 5 to 10 years. And they should not keep giving a lot of hope and then failing on them. So one can easily track on the BSE site itself And second, quality of the balance sheet. The debt should be manageable level. Preferably, it should be net cash. Even if debt is there as a percentage of sales or equity, it should be at a controllable level. Third, receivable and inventories put together should not be equivalent to annual sales. That is dangerous unless it is into seasonality business like sugar. Now, fourth, the valuation comfort zone. When you enter, the valuation comfort should be there. Even if valuation comfort is not there, there should be possibility of unlocking value through land bank acquisitions or holding company. So any of such triggers should be there. These are the characteristics. And finally, of course, the growth. As long as a solid growth is there, one can wait. Now, coming back to the stock idea, I would, some of my followers may be frustrated, but I would like to present once again Nesco. It's a fabulous company. Personally, we own, our company also invested. I still believe that it will be a phenomenal multi-bagger because excellent management, excellent balance sheet, lot of cash, 1,600 crore cash despite last 10 years, constantly investing in the fixed assets. And it is sitting on a 70-acre land in Mumbai on Goregaon. And the management itself in the last August presented to the BSE that the developmental potential in terms of FSI for IT park business and exhibition business is 5 times what they already utilized. So a lot of foreigners are investing in rental business model. Its business model is rental based. So as long as inflation is positive, your rental income will keep rising. And recently they got into 3 road infrastructure facility management. Market has completely ignored. This is one. And second, multi-bagger shall be limited. Yesterday it posted a minor losses. It's a hospital stock listed in 2017 at IPO was at 245. Today you are getting the stock at 210. In this last 7-year period, its fixed assets have gone up by more than 50% from 550 crore to almost 850 crore. Despite that, you are getting at 11% discount IPO price. It's a multi-state, multi-country hospital. And the loss is mainly because of heavy tax. On a 12 crore PBT, they made a tax provision of around 15 crore. Very unusual. Tax rate is 132, more than 100% of the PBT. And also a lot of other expenses, a lot of expansions have taken place, a lot of subsidiaries they have set up, 14 subsidiaries. So that it's a small cap, there can be a risk, but these are the 2 stocks. I firmly believe that potential multi-bagger, and we also invested in both stocks, Shalby and Nesco.
Got it. So a Nesco and a Shalby in terms of your multi-bagger picks. But up next, we have Zenith joining us on the line all the way from Bangalore. Welcome to the show, Zenith. What's your query about?
Good evening, everybody. And before I begin, let me tell you, this is my 3rd time connecting with you guys back to back, for the very same query on Suzlon Energy. Maybe I was not giving you guys enough clarity.
Got it.
So hoping that this time, I have a very unique proposition in terms of Suzlon Energy. So for the sake of it, I'm holding 2,500 at the price of 56.19.
Okay.
That is all good. My question is very simple. Specifically, I need to know what is going on from the past 5 days. Let me give you more context, if you can allow me just 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
So we know that it goes highest to 86, and it came back last week, to almost 47, 48. It was running and consolidating for many, many times. Then what happens? Quarterly result came, and it was phenomenal. I mean, out of this world, sort of, one of the best. And it keeps getting upper circuit from last 2 days, right? And after 2 days, what happens? It's again consolidating and almost reaching to the lower circuit, even though the market is doing good. Guidance is good, everything is good. I mean, I don't find any flawed logic that it should behave like that.
Yeah.
That is my question, ma'am. Hope I'm clarified.
Yeah, I get your question, Zenith. It's been a volatile time for the markets. I'll go to our technical guest for this. Kushal, it's a period of volatility in the market. We had a bad beating in the markets yesterday, the market up today. And we've also seen renewable stocks in general see a steep correction in the last 3 months or so. Now, so in terms of Suzlon Energy, Zenith over here has 2,500 shares at a price of 56.19 rupees, which is fairly close to the current price. Is there a certain resistance level that, the stock has to cross, or do you expect a consolidation view?
Rightly said that the streets cheer to the positive results that they announced on on 20th of January, and the stock surged by 27% in just four trading session. So the last couple of trading sessions that we've seen is some sort of profit booking, because it was a very significant rise in the last four trading sessions. So I think this profit booking is quite healthy now. The stock is consolidating at shorter term moving averages, which is acting as immediate support, and there was some mean reversion that was happening earlier. So I think it's a very positive stance that in terms of price action, and the stock at the current market juncture offers a very lucrative risk to reward ratio. So my sense is to hold on to the stock. Yes, from the levels front, the levels of 61 to 62 is a very strong hurdle zone. Again, with the presence of 50 DMA and 200 DMA. But I think it's a very nice accumulation phase that the stock is going under after a profit booking. So it's my sense is to hold on to a stock with stop loss near 54, near 55.25, and I'm expecting a further a positive trajectory about 61.50 odds. So hold on to the stock, let the stock cross 61.50 levels. And there's a visibility till 68 and 69 on the upside once the hurdle is taken out.
Okay, well said. And we will take our next caller. Shankar is on the phone line joining us from Bangalore. Hi, Shankar.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Go ahead with your question.
Ma'am, CDSL stock 250 stock, average price 1,250.
Okay.
3 month old, ma'am, short term. Buy or sell, ma'am. Extra stock add me, ma'am.
Okay, I got your question. Let's take this question to Kushal again. Kushal, Shankar holds 250 shares of CDSL at 1,250 apiece, and he is wanting a short-term query from you. And if you look at the charts, the stock has been falling consistently since December from 1900 levels or so. What's your take?
Well, my sense is to hold a very cautious stance in CDSL, simply because the stock has undergoing some profit booking, and the stock is already down by 37% from the peaks. Again, if the stock is trading below 200 DMA and there is no clear signs of recovery, yes, there can be a short bounce considering the oversold conditions. But my sense is that the stock might sustain selling pressure, especially from the resistance near 1488. Now that's the level that is likely to act as very stiff resistance. So my sense is to exit the stock on any bounce that is possible.
Okay.
Got it. The next, we have one more caller, and that is Mohan, all the way from Andhra Pradesh. And welcome to the show, Mohan. What's your query about?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Thank you for connecting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have added 50 shares of Anant in December.
Yeah.
At the cost of 685 rupees.
Yeah.
After DeepSeek announcement, it fallen 20%.
Yeah, that's right.
And it could not recover at least 10%. And last two sessions, today and yesterday, it has come down.
Okay.
May I know what is the reason?
Got it.
And another question for Mr. Choklingam, sir. I am a fan of him. So, can this stock go to 2,000 rupees at least 2 to 3 years time?
Got it. Mr. Choklingam, we have a lot of requests for you specifically. Now, Anant Raj, it's taken a beating this month, down about 33%. Major trigger was the DeepSeek announcement, which kind of put questions on the amount of data centers that we do need in the country. And Anant Raj is pegging its next leg of growth on these same data centers. Your outlook on Anant Raj and whether it could touch the 2,000 rupee mark in the next 2 to 3 years. Our viewer wants a long-term perspective.
I doubt whether it can become a multibagger in 2-3 years. In fact, in the last 5 years, it has already become a phenomenal multibagger. If you look at the December results, for current year, it is trading at around 50 PE. So with new fear on DeepSeek and also the fact that a lot more corporates are entering into this segment, business segment in which Anand Raj has entered. So I doubt at a stretched valuation of 50 PE now, whether it can phenomenally grow its profit and shrink its PE. Yes, maybe 10%, 15% upside is possible, or even 20% in a year's time. But I don't think it can emerge as a multibagger from current level in the next 2 to 3 years or 4 years.
Okay, understood. And now we have Ankit on the phone line calling us from Jaipur. Hi, Ankit.
Hello, ma'am.
Good evening, Ankit. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, ma'am. And my question is on Raymond Limited. I have 100 quantity at 1875.
Okay. And since when have you been holding on to these 100 shares of Raymond?
Ma'am, from last September.
From last September. Okay, got it. And you want a short-term view or a long-term one?
Short to medium.
Short to medium. Okay. Kushal, let's take this question to you. Ankit holds 100 shares of Raymond at 1,875, and he also mentioned that he bought these around September. Now, if you go back and look at the charts, the stock did climb as much as 2,316 in July last year, but hasn't been able to go up to that mark in the following months. Plus, however, given that the budget has allocated 5,272 crore to the textile industry, which is 19% above what was allocated last year, do you think textile counters could see some push on the charts?
Well, speaking particularly of Raymond, I feel the stock is already down 44%, from the record peaks, and the stock has been trending sideways now. So I have a neutral view, but just considering the sideway trend, I would consider 1410 as a very critical support zone. So I would hold with that stop loss. In case there's a breach below this support level, I would exit, position Raymond since it's consolidating and it's not garner much more of the bullish strength. So my best, so I have a neutral view and hold with a very strict stop loss near 1410.
Got it. The next caller that we have joining us is Ankit, all the way from Jaipur. Welcome to Amit. So we have Amit all the way from Hyderabad, and welcome to the show, Amit. What's your query about?
Yeah, hi ma'am. Good evening. My question is about Sagility. Given the whole geopolitical turmoil and increase of tariffs, etc., the dollar index is fluctuating, which is devaluating the rupee, which means Sagility as a company which is basically operating for US might benefit out of it, right? Yeah. But considering, it is only concentrated for US, it also has a risk. Do you think it has the potential of becoming a multi-bagger?
Got it. I'll take this question to Mr. Chokkalingam. Mr. Chokkalingam, a lot of volatility in terms of US and its tariffs. Yesterday we had tariffs. Today they were paused. On the context of this, our viewer Amit has question on Sagility India. 1,400 shares at price of 45 rupees is currently being held. His portfolio is in a profit, but he wants to know the outlook for Sagility in the long term, given this volatility and the depreciation of the rupee.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting the name of the company.
Sagility India.
Agility.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I have not tracked this company, but definitely I can share my view on US protectionism. This will definitely fizzle out in about 6 months to 12 months, because as a student of economics, I can confidently say that ultimately it will create more problem for US itself. The consumer would be the hardest hit, US consumers, and their cost of living would go up. It would impact the inflation. The rate cut reversal would not happen in a significant way. So ultimately, the US economy will become the victim. And this happened in the past also. So all these aggressive, hike in the duty on import of goods into US is going to be short-lived. So one need not worry in the medium to long term. That is beyond 6 months to 1 year. Definitely, these things are not going to impact the way the corporates are doing business.
Got it. Kush, I'll just come to you. Since Mr. Chokkalingam does not track Sagility closely, are there any levels one needs to watch out for Sagility India on the charts?
Positive view on Sagility. Just that, if you see from November lows, the stocks almost up by 100%. Before it succumbed to some profit booking, that was like around 26%. So it's a very classic sign that the savvy investors continue to hold their positions. But just that, the company is yet to announce its quarterly results, and I think it's due tomorrow. But again, by the sense of pullback, there's some very nice trading activity going on. So my sense is to hold on with a stop loss near 46.70. And just, let the volatility settle after the quarterly results are out. Probably then you should start, adding more positions in case of a positive result. But so far, I think the price action looks good, and he can hold with a stop loss near 46.80.
Got it. Wait and watch for Sagility India till their Q3 results to come out. But on that note, we'll have to slip into a short break. But viewers, keep sending your queries in and do call us to have your question answers. We'll be right back with Aus Profit. Stay tuned.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. You know, I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm sitting doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates, an NDTV exclusive.
चला चला पटकन पटकन. Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit.
The blessings of Ma Lakshmi that Prime Minister spoke about, will they shine on the middle class and the taxpayer?
The market will not be disappointed.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman with the Bahi Khata, they're getting ready to go in and present the budget.
I present the budget for 25-26 that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
ये बजट जो है बहुत ही RRR है. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि रिफॉर्मिस्ट भी है, रिस्पॉन्सिबल भी है और रिवॉल्यूशनरी भी है.
जब मैं था तब हरी नहीं, जब हरी है मैं ना ही. प्रेम गली अति साकरी, जामे दो न समाए.
This is another level. This is another level.
This is how a special Saturday session should end.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday.
viewers, you're watching Ask Profit only on NDTV Profit, a show where you ask your questions and we try and answer them through our experts. Joining us today is Kushal Gandhi, a technical analyst at Stocksbox, and G. Jokalingam, founder and MD of Economics Research. Welcome back, gentlemen. Without further ado, let's go across to our first caller after this very short break. Amrish is calling us from Karnataka on the phone line. Hi, Amrish. Good evening.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Please go ahead with your question.
Ma'am, I have bought RVN share at rupees 450, ma'am, of 150 shares, ma'am.
Okay. And when did you buy these?
Ma'am, before 2 months, ma'am.
Okay, 2 months back. And you're wanting a long-term perspective on this one?
Yeah, ma'am. I can hold for 1 year, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Chokalingam, let's take this question to you. Amrish holds 150 shares of Railway Vikas Nigam at 450 rupees. The stock is currently trading around 400 levels, and he's also sitting on a loss of around 7,000 rupees. Plus, after the union budget did not change its allocation towards the railway sector, a lot of counters in this space have been seeing some kind of selling pressure. What do you think about Railway Vikas Nigam from a long-term perspective?
Yeah, long-term perspective, definitely. The stock also corrected a lot. Valuation is stretched. It is trading at around 40 PE. So in the short to medium term, it might test the passion. It might even fall 10-15%. But certainly, if somebody is willing to hold for 1 to 3 years, one can hold, because the railway budget capex cannot remain constant. So such a large economy in itself, and even modernization, replacement, and capital expenditure, all this would definitely bounce back. If it is 1 or 2 year constant, one can be very sure that after a lag of 2-3 years, there will be a huge bounce in the outlay for railways, and that would be the time once again, Rail Vikas Nigam to see a pump up in its stock price also. So therefore, one can definitely hold it for 1 to 3 years.
Got it. Just a note to viewers, RVNL just won a 400 crore letter of acceptance order today with an execution period of 30 months. So it will be a stock to watch for tomorrow. Up next, but we have Kumar joining us from Chennai. Welcome to the show, Kumar. How can we help you?
Hi, good evening. I am holding Zydus Life Science 1010 200 shares. So will it bounce back or?
Got it.
And technical.
How long ago did you get?
Couple of months.
Okay, and are you looking for a short-term or a long-term view again?
Short and then long.
Okay, got it. Kushal, I'll come to you on the charts. How does Zydus Life Sciences look like? Our viewers currently facing a loss of around 7,000 rupees, 200 shares at a price of 110 rupees per share.
I have a neutral view on Zydus Life, simply because the stock is under, an accumulation phase. It's trying to bottom out. Some nice evidence is, it's trying to gain its relative standards compared to market, and the volatility remains quite low. So at this time, I think I have a neutral view. It would be a hold with a very strict stop loss near 929.
Okay, got it. And now we have Ravi joining us on the phone line from Hyderabad. Hi, Ravi.
Yeah, hi. Very good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling Ask Profit. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, my query is regarding Samvardhana Motherson.
Okay.
So could you tell me what is the correct price to buy some new stocks, and also does this stock has a potential to give 5 to 10% in next 6 to 8 months?
Okay, got it. And just for clarity, you're not holding any shares of Samvardhana Motherson at the moment, right?
No.
Okay, got it. So let's take this question to Chokalingam. Chokalingam, Ravi wants to know if Samvardhana Motherson, is it a good time to enter this stock? The stock is up 5% today, trading around 137 levels. However, it has been pretty vulnerable to Trump tariffs. What do you think?
Yeah, that risk is there. But otherwise, the company is a great company in terms of growth. It has proven its growth path in the last several years. Stock also corrected a lot. And definitely is very much possible, around a 15% return in 6 months to 12 months. So therefore, one can, buy the stock. That's my research view.
Got it. Up next, we have Sanjay on the call all the way from Mysuru. Welcome to the show, Sanjay. How may we help you today?
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, Waaree renewable technology stock, 100 stock by average price 1,200. Last, ma'am, hold or sell, ma'am.
Okay,
Short-term 3 months, ma'am.
Okay, so you're looking for a short-term view. I'll head to our technical guys. Kushal, on the charts, Waaree Renewables, how does it look like? Our viewer has 100 shares at a price of 1,200, and we've seen a significant correction in the renewable, segment as a whole. What would be the outlook for the short-term period?
It's the stock because it's like a falling knife with no meaningful recovery that we've seen throughout the downfall from the peaks of 2000 odds. So I think it's best to avoid the stock because the shorter term moving averages are constantly acting as supply zone. So any recovery is being rejected. So it's best to avoid the stock. It's best to get out of the stock.
Okay, got it. And now we have Krishna on the phone line from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Krishna. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. Thanks for taking my call.
Most welcome. Please go ahead.
I have GMR Airports shares of 500, which I bought at 90 rupees.
Okay.
I would like to know the potential whether it can reach my price, and also the second one is, can I add some more stocks at the current price?
Okay, got it.
I'm planning to hold it for 1 year.
Okay, got it. Kushal, let's take this question to you. Krishna holds 500 shares of GMR Airports at 90 apiece. And if you look at the charts, the stock has been pretty choppy on the charts and it has been falling consistently. Plus, not a good performer, but he wants to know if this company has the potential to go back to his selling price, which is around 90. What is your take on GMR Airports?
Firstly, talking about the primary trend of GMR Airports, the trend has been sideways, so it lacks to offer any directional bias. Second, the price action is trading very precariously in the demand zone, near 70.50 odds. And just on terms of fundamental check, the EPS trend remains quite poor, and so is the price trend as compared to general markets and its performance for the last 12 months. There's no such catalyst from the sectoral group as well. So I would recommend to hold with a very strict stop loss near 69.50 odds, and with any possible bounce, he should exit his positions.
Got it. The next caller that we have joining us is Paramjeet, all the way from Dharamshala. Welcome to the show, Paramjeet. How may we help you?
Hello.
Hello.
Madam, good evening. I'm having Landmark Cars shares, 2,000 shares at the rate of 500.
Got it. And are you looking for a long-term or a short-term view?
Both.
Okay, got it. Landmark Cars, it's beating down about 14% in the last 1 month. It's very close to its 52-week low, just a few points away. I'll come to you, Mr. Choklingam, first. From the fundamental side, how does Landmark look right now? Our viewers currently on a profit position on the counter.
Unfortunately, I am not able to get the adequate fundamental data, so therefore I am not able to make any view on this stock.
Got it. It's okay, that's okay. Kushal, we come to you. Landmark Cars on the charts, how does it look?
Well, I have a negative outlook. Simply because the EPS trend is quite poor, and so is the price performance as compared to last 12 months, and its price trend, relative to the general market. So that has led to a significant deterioration in buyer's demand. And again, in the penultimate trading session, it's confirmed further breakdown from an inverted cup and handle. So I think the selling pressure might sustain further. So it's best to sell the stock at the current market price.
Okay, got it. And now we have Ankit calling us from Ahmedabad. Hi, Ankit.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
My query is, I wanted to invest in Bharat Electronics Limited, and my time horizon is for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Actually, 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
So I wanted to know that what are the right levels on which I can enter into Bharat Electronics Limited.
Okay, and why are you interested in Bharat Electronics?
Actually, from last 2 to 3 months, I was looking for entering into PSU stores, the PSU sector.
Okay.
And as per our discussion with our experts yesterday only, they suggested that I'm saying that as per the discussion with our experts yesterday only, they told that PSU is better than IT sector, and due to that, I wanted to invest in a PSU sector, so I found BEL is the right choice.
Okay, got it. Chokalingam, you may have heard Ankit. He wants to know your view on Bharat Electronics and also wants to know if this is the right time to enter.
It's a great stock. It has done phenomenally well in the past, but right now the valuation is stretched. So if one wants to enter, maybe around the 250 level would be fundamentally attractive to buy.
Okay, and Mr. Chokalingam, when you say valuations are stretched for Bharat Electronics, can you also explain how and why?
Yeah, very interesting question. You would look at year-on-year profit growth. In the latest quarter on a trailing basis, and also for the last full financial year ending, to get a sense of what is the kind of growth momentum the stock has in the profit. Now, and also you can look at the previous 3-4 years. Of course, here the limitation is that about the future, you need to go through the con call script, management discussion, and also the news analysis about order backlog, all that. But generally, for public investors, this is a very simple common sense method. So you look at year-on-year profit growth of latest quarter, or for 9-month period, or last financial year, and then for last 2-3 years, you get a sense of average profit growth the company is able to manage. Now, if P ratio is 50, the intelligence investors, for the centuries, what they say, if you are paying a P ratio of 100, you see that profit grows at 100. But India, if you follow the traditional intelligence investors methodology, you won't make money in most of the stocks. Most of the successful stock stories you will miss out. So therefore, I have made a compromise, and what I do, if you are paying say 100 PE and ensure that based on this analysis, the profit is growing at above 50%. So that it's what we call as a PEG ratio. So instead of one PEG ratio, at least compromise to the level of 2. Simple common sense, if you are paying 100 PE, see that profit grows at least half of that. If you are paying 50 PE and see that profit grows at least by 25-30%. So this is not a rule, but this common sense approach helps us a lot. Those who follow this approach would have saved themselves in the last 4 months meltdown, which happened in many newly listed IPOs, new age companies, where you saw the P ratio going to 100, but the profit is growing at 30-20%. And that is the reason many stocks have corrected in absolute amount even by 1,000 rupees. I'm not saying this is the most scientific, this is the starting point for public investors. And then you can complement this with, as I said, companies' management's guidance, order backlog, or what is the... Yeah. So these are the ways to one can.
Okay, got it. Let's move on to the next caller. We have Abdul joining us. Welcome to the show, Abdul. What's your query about?
Yeah, my question is, I am having the share of Mazagon dock on the price of 2970.
Okay, and how many shares do you currently hold?
345. Actually, I bought 172. Then I got the bonus in that.
Okay.
This month. And so my I bought on the price was 5,800. Now the price has been slashed to 2970. My average comes. Okay. So whether I should hold it or I should sell it.
Yeah, got it. Kushal, I'll come to you on the charts. Mazagon Docks, the defense pack as a whole, not done so very well. Stretch valuations, we talk about it all the time. Our viewer has 345 shares, average of 2,970, but he entered the stock at a level of around 5,000 odd levels, average at 2,970 rupees. Should he hold or sell this counter?
I would recommend to hold the stock simply because, after a significant rise of stock is, it's underwent profit booking and now it's under the accumulation phase. So I think the stock is likely to trend sideways further. So it's best to hold on to a stock and keeping 200 DMA as your trailing stop loss, which is currently trading at 2094.
Okay, got it. And now we have Gopal joining us from Jharkhand. Hi, Gopal. Good evening.
Good evening.
Namaste. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I'm having 100 shares of PVR Inox at 1842. I purchased it last year.
Okay.
And what is the long-term view of this share? And other thing is, can I add on to the share, seeing that it's trading at 1,100 range?
Okay. And when last year did you buy these shares of Inox?
I think someone in June, May, June, I think.
Okay, May, June. Got it. So let's take this question to Chokalingam. Chokalingam, Gopal holds 100 shares of PVR Inox at 1,842. The stock is currently trading around 1,100. As a consequence of that drop in the share price, he's sitting on a substantial amount of loss, around 75,000 bucks. Now, a couple of things before you give your view on the stock. I would also want to know if this is a good time to bet on companies like PVR Inox, where we're not sure about the path of theatres.
Yes, absolutely. The structural changes in the economy make a big impact in the stock market. Just to take half a minute, you have seen, IT companies which created phenomenal wealth in the last 3 decades. That was an account of structural change. So many structural changes happened and they impacted in the stock market positively and also negatively. Now, as you rightly said, there is a structural change post COVID, and today you have OTT platforms have mushroomed, and they are growing like anything. And even the competition for eyeball of any typical urbanite is very high. You have theaters, you have malls, you have OTT, you have traditional TV channels, you have social media. So therefore, in my view, PVR has become a victim of this structural change, what you see. Otherwise, great management, no doubt about it. And they have invested heavily. So I would give a hold call and I would see how this company has, ultimately succeeds in battling out this structural change and getting back to growth path. That one has to see at least for another 2 to 4 quarters. So till then, I would give a hold recommendation on PVR Inox.
Got it. So whole recommendation for PVR Inox. But next we have Shiva from Hyderabad joining us. Welcome to the show, Shiva.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening. How may we help you today?
Ma'am, I have a small savings of 1 lakh. Firstly, can you recommend me any index fund?
Got it. Is there any particular sector? We'll try to get you to the index view, but if you have any, do you want a sectoral view on where you might enter in the current markets?
Like energy sector, like that.
Okay, got it. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you. If I doubt you may have this, but if you have any index fund recommendations, and if not, in the energy pack, which companies stand out?
I don't track the mutual fund, only direct equity. But still I can say that energy fund is not the right one right now, because the competition has intensified. Earlier you were talking about Tata Power, and that was a pioneer in some of this renewable energy segment. Today, almost every month, one company is debuting into the stock market on renewable energy. So the whole energy pack is getting crowded, and you saw the impact on JSW Energy also in the stock market. So I would suggest that better to look somewhere else in different sectors rather than the energy sector at this point in time.
Okay, not a bearish view on the energy sector from the fundamental side. Kushal, I'll come to you. Are there any stocks, on a short to medium term basis that look good on the charts?
Well, from the energy sector, I'm bearish on that tone. So yeah, it's best to avoid the sector.
Got it.
Okay, got it. And now we have Vasant calling us from Bangalore. Hi, Vasant.
Hello, madam. Good evening, madam.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
I am fan of Chokalingam, sir. Yeah, I have 50 shares of Kaynes technology, madam.
Okay.
But around 5,000 rupees.
Okay.
I was long-term holder.
Got it.
I want to know the fundamental this thing and all. Please.
Got it. Chokalingam, let's take this question to you. Vasant is a fan of yours. He holds 50 shares of Kaynes Technology at an average price of 5,000. The stock is currently trading around 4,452. It has been down 37% in the past 1 month. What's your long-term take on this?
I would give a sell call. I mean, I believe that the pressure on these kind of businesses would continue, and growth will not be proportionate to the PE multiple. So I expect at least another 10% downside to this stock.
Got it. The next query that we have is a WhatsApp query, and this is regarding Titan, who, by the way, just posted its Q3 numbers post market hours. If you just look at Titan, we've seen a revenue uptick of 25%. We've seen EBITDA gaining 7%. We've seen a margin contraction to 9.4% versus 11%, and net profit fairly flat at 1,447 crores. We had watches, jewelry, and eye care segment all seeing a 15 to 27% uptick in revenues on an annual basis. The margins were impacted by an inventory change as well as a 17% uptick in employee costs and 16% rise in other expenses. And our viewer Poonam here currently holds 200 shares of Titan at a price of 2,500 rupees, a profit of 2 lakhs, and whether hold or sell. Mr. Chokling, I'm come to you. Fundamentally, with Titan's numbers out, what's the view for Titan? Should you add more or, book your profits?
Book a profit in case, stock remains steady or at this level, because I'm looking at the performance. There is a phenomenal growth in revenue on year, but which is not getting reflected in the bottom line. On year, the bottom line is, almost stagnant, though sequentially it has improved. So I would not give this kind of P multiple when, the profit growth is not robust. So I would give a sell call on Titan.
Got it. Kushan, do you, mirror the same view or negative for Titan?
I have a similar view because the stock's trading sideways, and it's highly volatile in the current recent times. So it's best to avoid the stock, and it trades quite higher from the mean. There can be a possibility that it might succumb to some profit booking.
Okay, got it. And now we have Ramesh joining us on the phone line from Chennai. Hi, Ramesh. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
How can we help you?
Yeah, actually, I'm holding a Tata Motors shares at 204, averaging at 684.
Okay.
It's still going down for quite some time, so I'm just thinking to down average it. Will it be wise to down average it, or just to hold it with the current holding that I have?
Got it. Kushal, this question is for you. Ramesh holds 205 shares of Tata Motors at 684. That's, if I'm not wrong, that price was around its 52-week low. The current price is 709, so still around its 52-week low, but the stock was up 3% today. He's asking if you should hold on current levels or average it out.
I would recommend him to exit the positions and simply look in stocks, that are showing strength, something like a TVS Motor or Maruti or Eicher for that matter. Just speaking about Tata Motors, I mean, the EPS trend, the price trend, the buyer's demand, they look significantly poor. And again, on the price structure wise, it's been trading with low highs and low price structure. And any meaningful recovery is getting rejected by shorter term moving averages. So I think it's a sell from my end.
The next question is a WhatsApp question from Arvind from Bangalore. This is regarding Ideaforge Tech. 50 shares and an average of 660. He's asking whether he should hold or sell his position currently. Shall I come to you on the charts? Ideaforge, should the viewer, book his profits, exit the counter? He's currently facing a loss of 10,000 rupees, or should he average it out and, balance his portfolio?
I think.
Speaking of Ideaforge, I mean, the stock is already trading in a very significant downtrend with no significant recovery. It's recorded new lows and it's trading quite near the 52-week lows. So I think it's a sell from my end, because even on the fundamental aspect, the stock looks weaker and the price action also looks weaker. The stock lacks any sort of momentum or price trend as compared to general markets. So it's a sell.
Okay, so it's a sell on Ideaforge. And on that note, Kushal and Mr. Chokalingam, thank you so much for joining us in this edition of Fast Profit. We'll see you again, but thank you for answering all our queries. And viewers, that's all the time we had in this edition of Ask Profit, but do stay tuned. We'll come back tomorrow morning as well as again in the evening. So keep your queries coming in on call as well as on WhatsApp. Thank you, and stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. You know, I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm sitting doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source Code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates. An NDTV exclusive.
चला चला पटकन पटकन.
Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit.
The blessings of Ma Lakshmi that Prime Minister spoke about, will they shine on the middle class and the taxpayer?
The market will not be disappointed.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman with the Bahi Khata, they're getting ready to go in and present the budget.
I present the budget for 25-26. That there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
ये बजट जो है बहुत ही RRR है. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि रिफॉर्मिस्ट भी है, रिस्पॉन्सिबल भी है और रिवॉल्यूशनरी भी है.
जब मैं था तब हरि नहीं, जब हरि है मैं नाही. प्रेम गली अति साकरी जामे दो न समाए.
This is another level. This is another level.
This is how a special Saturday session should end.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know Your Company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know Your Company at 11:30 a.m. Monday.
Markets rebound after US President Donald Trump pauses tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Barring FMCG, all sectors closed in green with metal, pharma and PSU banks leading the gains. Foreign institutional investors turned buyers after 23 days of selling. Buy shares worth 809.23 crore rupees as per provisional data on February 4th. AI is becoming a key part of future projects, says Bill Gates in an exclusive interview with NDTV. He also highlighted how India's government is benefiting from impressive talent in the tech industry. China slaps retaliatory tariffs on US goods and launches probe into Google. This comes after US President Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese goods, reigniting a trade war between the world's largest economies. When power becomes service, nation building happens. That's what PM Modi said in his reply to the motion of thanks in the Lok Sabha. Added that when power becomes an inheritance, democracy ends as a jibe to the opposition. In a bid to protect economically vulnerable individuals, Karnataka government proposes ordinance that exempts borrowers from repaying loans taken from unlicensed and unregistered microfinance institutions. Could this be the finale to the Israel-Gaza war? Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump set to hold a joint press conference tonight. Netanyahu would be the first global leader to meet Trump after the US president returned to office. Hello and welcome. This is Profit 360 on NDTV Profit and I'm your host Himakshi Bahuguna. Along the next half an hour, we'll bring you the latest on the markets as well as national and international news. So viewers, here's an exclusive interview. My colleague Vishnu Som caught up with Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. Gates highlighted how the Indian government is benefiting from the impressive talent in the tech industry and shared his views on India's agriculture sector. Listen in to that exclusive conversation.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm sitting doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates.
You've also had the occasion of meeting Prime Minister Modi on a couple of occasions. He's fascinated by technology. What did you talk about in terms of technology?
Well, the Prime Minister is trying to make sure India takes its incredible capacities and is really out at the forefront. And so, India's has, with things like Aadhaar, been a wonderful model. In fact, we work with the Indian government and people like Anant and Nilakani to make sure that some of those ideas are available to other countries because it's a very empowering set of tools. In education and health, there's so much more that can be done. The idea of taking the ultrasound and seeing with the pregnant woman, is this going to be a difficult delivery? And if so, make sure that she gets to a hospital where something like a C-section can be done, or if not, then it's not necessary, and she can stay in the local community. And we have a lot of partners in India that we're encouraging them to move quickly because whenever you have a shortage of great doctors, the idea that you can make doctors more productive or even give patients information in between their visits to doctors can improve lives immensely.
And is that what you spoke to Prime Minister Modi about, the potential of India's digital backend, whether it's Aadhaar or AI in health? Or
that is,
I'm just curious to know what...
That's always a key topic. I mean, in the cabinet, you have a lot of people who are very impressive. They come from the computer industry, and so they can follow through on these things. India has, in the agriculture area, a lot of research, because these weather changes are very challenging. And so we've been able to take the government's goals in health and agriculture and see how we can help accelerate those. And although historically AI was not part of that, I'd say the
Viewers, you can catch this exclusive conversation with Bill Gates at 9 p.m. tonight only on NDTV Profit. With that, let's move on. So, viewers, benchmarks surged in the second half with Nifty and Sensex rallying over 1.5%. Barring FMCG, all sectors closed in green with the metal and pharma PSU banks leading the gains. Harsh is joining us with the complete market roundup for the day.
Well, IT financials lead the index higher, and we've seen such a strong market today. Welcome. 1.6% higher on the Nifty 50 index, 1.9% on the Nifty Bank, and the Nifty IT too, due to the last minute late surge, we closed 1% plus higher. If you can pull up the IT index intraday, and 1.3% of course, but even intraday you'll see a solid spike when it comes to the graph on the IT chart, and that's what's caused the spike even on the Nifty 50 counter. So positive with regard to where the benchmark is concerned, largely led by IT and financials. And you'll see that when it comes to the Nifty 50 heat map as well, stocks which contributed well. You'll see some private banks participating. You'll see SBI also up 2.5%. The heavyweights are doing well, and L&T was up nearly 4.5+%. And you'll see an Axis and IndusInd, all of those chipping in and contributing. In terms of the breadth, extremely strong, as you can see, 1% plus, nearly 35 plus stocks, or nearly 30 stocks, all doing 1% plus in trade. That's the advanced decline for you. The picture was good across the board, but the Nifty mid-cap and small-cap indices did very well in trade as well. And that's thanks to the last hour or so of trade. 1.4% higher on the Nifty mid-cap, 1.1%. The Nifty small-cap seeing a better surge in the last hour or so of trade, and that's led both of those, or the broader markets have done fairly well for themselves as well. Let's look at the sectoral heat map and try and break down what really didn't do as well was the Nifty FMCG, but outside of that, just look at the traction across sectors. The Nifty Pharma was also up 1.7. The Nifty Auto was up around 1% or thereabouts, and the Nifty IT also had a field day. So very strong across the board. The Fin Nifty was up 2%, of course, and the oil and gas index was up nearly 3%. Strong gains across the board, 2.5% lower on the VIX, and a strong market to close it up. Let's look at the BSE 500 top gainers, top losers. Those are some names that you may want to keep on your radar. Some of them moving on the back of news, on the back of tariffs, but also just generally the market was very strong today.
Thanks, Harsh, for that market check. Now, foreign institutional investors have finally turned buyers after continuing their selling streak for 23 days. Meega joins in with a breakdown of the fund flow data for the day.
Foreign institutional investors have turned net buyers in the Indian markets for the first time in 23 days. This is the first time that FIs have turned buyers since Jan 2nd, 2025. Now, as per the provisional fund flow data on February 4th, domestic institutional investors sold shares worth 430 crores, while foreign institutional investors bought shares worth 809 crores, which gives the net inflow in the Indian markets at 359 crores in Feb 4, 2025. Now, just to give you a little bit of context and data in 2025, well, FIs sold total shares worth 78,027 crores in the month of January 2025, while they sold shares worth 3,629 crores in the first 3 days of February 2025. The total FII selling up to February 3rd was worth 81,656 crores, which is year to date. But FIIs bought shares worth 809.23 crores as per the provisional data on February 4th.
Right. Stay with us, Meeka. Even Tata Power has come out with its Q3 earnings. So if you could just take away with those numbers there.
We have Tata Power in focus because of its Q3 results. Now, while revenue was a miss because of a 5% uptake to 15,391 crores, we have EBITDA and profit beating estimates. EBITDA was up 38.68% to over 3,350 crores versus the estimate of 3,000 crores, while margins did see an expansion of 528 basis points to 21.78%. And lastly, net profit was up 8% to 1,030 crores. Now, what helped revenues? Well, revenue growth was mainly driven by the transmission and distribution segment, and the margins variance was helped by a stock in trade uptick of 418.23 crores versus 305 crores a year ago, and the bottom line was aided by 35% lower tax expenses as a whole. In terms of Tata Power's capacity details, well, total operational capacity is at 15.56 gigawatts. Over 10 gigawatts of clean and green capacity is currently under construction, and operational transmission lines stand at over 4,630 circuit kilometers. In terms of the key segment-wise updates, well, solar utility scale EPC order book is at 13,556 crores, while the solar rooftop business segment order book is up 21% on a quarter-on-quarter basis to 827 crores. In terms of its solar manufacturing business, well, the entire 4 gigawatt cell line in Tamil Nadu is now fully operational, and the remainder 300 megawatt TOPCon cell line is expected to be commissioned in Q4 of FY25. Q3 revenues of the solar manufacturing business stood at 1,300 crores with net profit at 112 crores, and over 2.4 gigawatts of modules have been produced in the 9 months of FY25. And lastly, two-thirds of the Tata Power's under construction transmission projects are set to be commissioned in 2025 is what the company has said. This totals 1,653 circuit kilometers, which will commission between March and December in 2025, and the expected revenues of these 4 projects is pegged at 848 crores.
Thanks, Mika, for taking us through those numbers there. Now, there's been another development in the Religare saga, and this time the Delhi High Court is also refusing to pass any interim order in Saluja's case. Charu, who's been tracking this story closely, joins in. Charu, what has the Delhi High Court said?
So the Delhi High Court was hearing a case filed by the Religare Enterprises Limited's director Rashmi Saluja. She wanted the voting on her reappointment to be stopped in the upcoming AGM on 7th February. So she had gone up to the High Court and said that she cannot be removed from her post at the financial company because her appointment has been according to some provisions of the company law which prohibits such sort of an ouster from the board. Now, this is not the only isolated case regarding Religare that Delhi High Court is hearing. Currently, there are multi-forum disputes going on with regards to the control struggle of Religare. While we are talking about the dismissal of Saluja's request from the Delhi High Court and refusal to pass an interim order at this stage before the AGM or halting the AGM, another minority shareholder case is also ongoing in the High Court that is also asking for a halt on the AGM and asking the High Court to say that Denny Gaikwad, who is a USA-based businessman, his offer for the Religare stake should be looked into carefully and supported rather than going with the Burman family's offer. And other disputes which have for now taken the backseat include some curbs on Saluja by IRDAI, and other observations have in the past been made by SEBI, SAT and other regulators as well. So it becomes very interesting to see what other developments take place before Feb 7, whether the AGM takes place or not, because till now there has been no halt.
Right, absolutely, Charu. Now with that we focus on Bachat Bhi and Vikas Bhi. That's said by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his reply to the motion of thanks on the President's address in Lok Sabha today. Listen in to his comments on the income tax relief and Viksit Bharat.
सरकारी खजाने में बचत हुई वो तो एक बात है और वो करना भी चाहिए, जैसा मैंने ट्रस्टीशिप की बात कही, लेकिन हमने इस बात पर भी ध्यान रखा है कि जन सामान्य के उनको भी बचत का लाभ मिलना चाहिए। योजना ऐसी हो ताकि जनता को भी बचत हो। और आपने देखा होगा आयुष्मान भारत योजना बीमारी के कारण सामान्य मानवी को जो खर्च होता था, अब तक जिन लोगों ने इसका बेनिफिट लिया है उसी के हिसाब से मैं कहता हूं कि करीब करीब देशवासियों का आयुष्मान योजना का बेनिफिट लेते के कारण जो खर्चा उनको अपने जेब से करना पड़ता, वैसे 1,20,000 करोड़ रुपया जनता जनार्दन के बचे। हमारा मॉडल है बचत भी विकास भी। जनता का पैसा जनता के लिए। जनधन, आधार, मोबाइल की जेम ट्रिनिटी बनाई और डीबीटी से डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर ये देना शुरू किया। आदरणीय सभापति जी, हमारे कार्यकाल में हमने 40 लाख करोड़ रुपया सीधा जनता जनार्दन के खाते में जमा किया।
US Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman calls this budget by the people, for the people and of the people. In an exclusive conversation with NDTV, she said that the budget was made basis the inputs they have given. Let's listen into that bit from that conversation.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget है. People के आवाज़ सुनकर बहुत सारे इसमें फैक्टर्स ले आए, इसमें कैरेक्टरिस्टिक चेंजेस जो हुआ है वो सब पीपल के वॉइस के अनुसार हुआ है. सो वी आर मेकिंग द बजट फॉर द पीपल फ्रॉम द इनपुट्स दैट दे हैव गिवन अस एंड मेड इट फॉर गवर्नमेंट विच इज़ पीपल इलेक्टेड. सो इसमें पूरे देश का बेहतरी के लिए बहुत सारे अंश हैं. ठीक है, ऑपोजिशन पार्टी को तो यही लगता है कि चुनाव के लिए बजट होता है. मैं उससे सहमत नहीं हूँ. चुनाव के भी हो सकता है, मगर पूरे देश में, देश के लिए इतना. असम में चुनाव हो रही है क्या? बड़ा सा 12.47 कैपेसिटी यूरिया प्लांट बन रही है असम नामरूप में. वो भी रिवाइविंग वन ऑफ द ओल्ड यूरिया फैक्ट्रीज.
Now on to an NDTV Profit exclusive. Multiple former ICICI Bank employees have approached local labour offices alleging illegal termination. Rishabh joins in with more on this.
Multiple former employees of ICICI Bank have approached their regional labor offices. This is with regards to their alleged illegal termination from the bank. We have NDTV Profit is in receipt of notices coming in from the regional labor offices in Kota, Mumbai, Bikaner, Guwahati, Udaipur, Karnal, Rourkela and Vijayawada. So pan-India, lots of employees coming in, taking their grievances to their regional labor offices and sort of asking for conciliation proceedings with regards to their termination. Now, we reached out to ICICI Bank. They said that these are employees that were not terminated, but rather these employees themselves stopped reporting for work. That has caused the voluntary abandonment of their services. So ICICI Bank stating that this is an incorrect interpretation of the fact that they were not removed by the company, but they were removed from the company because they stopped reporting to work themselves. And also ICICI Bank said that only one individual has approached the Labour Authority, while we are in receipt of several notices with regards to the conciliation proceedings that are going on between the aggrieved party, which is the ex-employee here, and the bank and the bank's management as well. These are cases that pertain to 2024 when a lot of these employees were let go. And we will continue to keep tracking this case and see how these conciliation proceedings pan out for these aggrieved employees.
Thanks, Rishabh, for tracking that story so closely. Now, pharma major Wockhardt recently recognized 4 Life Wins icons for their contribution to research and innovation in the pharma space. Let's listen in to a brief snippet from the chairman, Habil Khorakiwala's address at the company's event.
Tonight, as we honor the recipient of Wockhardt Life Wins icon, we know